Hi there from Custom Home Builder Solutions, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. This is going to be the final in a series of purchase order videos, all kinds of things about purchase orders that we've talked about in previous videos, and this is going to be a bit of a sum up of various things about the purchase orders. We're going to go back to the purchase orders window. And what I'd like to talk about is the big database that shows all your POs and costs. It's called POs and Cost Management. We looked at it a bit in the last couple of POs for one particular job, but on that window we don't have extensive search features that I'm now about to show you, and about a couple of other features that are on this particular management window. The purpose of this window is to show you that your POs and your costs beside your POs. And this opens with all jobs showing, and you can see that this other job, DeGroot, that this builder had done before, he had posted several costs that he did not have POs for, and that of course is your choice, even though I believe that your costs are best controlled by issuing purchase orders first, as I've demonstrated in various things. So we have a search feature up here, and what I'm going to do is just pay attention again to the job we've been showing in our demo. So I'm looked in the jobs section, I've scrolled down to it, and I've clicked on the job. If I wanted to look at more than one job, I could hold down my control key and select different jobs. I'm going to unselect that. Or if I hold down my shift key and do that, it'll do all of them. Let me do that. All of that from here to here, and select several of them. I'm going to make it still again just our one code. Let's just search for that for a minute. All the purchase orders and costs that have been posted to that job that I selected. This will show you all costs that don't have POs, so that if you do some reports you can see all the costs that have been posted to that job. But first, before we do any of the reports, what I'd like to show you as we go across here is, first of all, you see the PO number, and if you hover over it you can see the PO title, etc., and if you click on it, it will open the purchase order window that we've seen several times. Right here it will show you what the PO type is, and in your search you could search for only certain types of POs. Like if I did variance POs and submitted my search, I would just see variance POs that I've issued in our various videos. We haven't issued very many of them, but if you're wanting to search for variance POs pretty quickly, you can. I'm going to search, and I'm going to clear the search fields and not make it the variance anymore, but I will make it my job that I've been interested in. If I'm only interested in looking at a particular vendor for that job, I can do that, and I can click Submit Search. And I can see that there's been 2 POs and the costs issued on those POs. And if I want to do a little report real quick, I can do a results reports, and this result by vendor. And if you left all your jobs open, it could be an interesting report to print, to go over with your vendor, your trade, or your supplier about the purchase orders, about the costs issued, etc. This says this PO is done over, even though we only paid $2,300, which said that there was a $200 difference, but it was check marked as done because we decided not to pay them that additional $200. And if you click on the purchase order, if you get curious about that later, or you're not the person that did all of that and you're wondering what happened with that, and you need to explain it to your vendor later because they don't remember, you can click this button up here for audit and approval info, and you can read any field notes by dragging down here and seeing what the project manager said about not paying the $200, etc., so that you could go over that. So there's several things to drill down on and look at from that window. And we are back on the POs and cost management window, and it's brought back everything because it needed to refresh in case I made changes on the PO. But I clicked the button to resubmit the search that I had done. I didn't have to go do the search again. It remembered it and it would resubmit it. Let's just put no selection here for vendor. We won't narrow it down to one vendor anymore. If you're interested in POs issued for certain cost codes, you can certainly use this field. And you should never overlook the fact that there are a lot of search tips down here about ways that you can search these various fields. You can search by PO number. You can search for, we've talked several times about searching for POs that are less than or equal to a certain job stage. Maybe you're only interested in POs through a certain job stage. Maybe you're only interested in POs that have outstanding amounts, and it says here try exclamation point equals 0 for not equal to 0. Most all of ours probably still have outstanding amounts, but you can see even on this list right here that there's one that doesn't. So if you wanted to just see ones that have outstanding amounts, you can do not equal to 0. That's how you type it. That's why you have that clue there. And so now you're only seeing ones that do have outstanding amounts. You could do a search here again. Let's wipe that out. You can look for dollar amounts that are over or under. You can try greater than 0 to see ones that came in over the PO and search for those. You can search for just ones for vendor types like subcontractor, etc., types that you might have set up. And if you're using a PO status, that's something that you can set up yourself and set up various statuses like delivery, or we have delivered, issued, something completed in here, and we could just look for POs that have that status if there's some reason you're wanting to do that. But anyway, I think you get the idea. But let's look for PO done no. Let's just look for ones that are no for that job. And by PO done, we mean that all costs have been posted to it and we're not going to be paying any more costs against it. Let's just pretend that that 1129 that we did in the previous video, architectural engineering extras, that we're not going to pay any more than this $55. So we could do PO done. We could mark it as done on here. This is a window that you can get your POs marked as done if they haven't already been marked as done. Let's scroll down here. Notice how it disappeared from our list because we did mark it as done, so it's no longer, it redid the search and it's no longer showing right now, but you would see it if you cleared your search. Let's just clear it real quick. And let's see if we can get down to that, our demo job. When I cleared it, I got back all the jobs and everything, but let's get to that. But you can see that that's been check marked as done. And if I resubmit my search, it'll remember the search I did before and give me back just that job and ones that are not marked as done. But you can see how you use this window to mark POs as done. That means they won't show up for work approval lists anymore of open POs, and on the open POs where you can post bills from open POs, that won't be on there anymore. So you're check marking it as done so that those aren't showing up anymore. You said this PO is done and there won't be any more costs posted to it. These columns are pretty self-explanatory. The outstanding is the PO amount minus the posted costs, and the difference between those, if it's been check marked as done, this will show as 0. Let's do our search, let's not just do done anymore. Clear our search fields. I'm hoping that going back and forth to this search lets you learn how you can do various things. You can see that back down on that cost code 1129, since we check marked it as done, there's a 0 outstanding amount on this. Everything's been posted that we're going to post, but this amount that we did post of $55 is not paid, so it will be in a remaining to pay over here in the column. And that PO status is what I talked about. If you click on it, you can set different PO statuses like delivered, completed. You can type in and make new ones just by typing them in. You can also put in start, delivery, and completion dates on that PO. That's more handy on the other one that's just a list of POs than it is here, but you can edit all of that there. Showing you your PO title. who the job builder is, what the job is, and whether the job is active or not. When you first open this, if you're looking at all your POs, I would imagine that you might select job active yes, because you're probably only interested in your active jobs. There are various reports up here. This one called results reports is based on your search and whatever you searched for. I just searched for that one job, so here's report results by vendor, and it gives all that various information that we've been looking at on the screen. You can export to PDF, export it to Excel if you like. I will put sample copies of these reports in the help tutorials. This one would be just by cost code, not by vendor. So it's grouped, see how it's got this 1105 together in two different POs for that cost code, that kind of thing. And it's showing that same over, under, and results and all the stuff that's in the management. You can also get it grouped by job stage, and we've talked about stages several times. You might want to print your POs by stage and see how much is outstanding to pay for each stage that you have set up. And please watch videos about setting up job stages, but you can see this is the pre-construction stage. There's still lots remaining to pay, and the total of each stage and what's remaining to pay in each stage, just for POs that you've issued. This is only for POs and that you've issued when you end up with a remaining to pay amount. And the other report, it'll group it by this PO title in case you have similar PO titles and you want them grouped together. I don't think we did that very much. Our PO titles are pretty much all different, but here's two of them that have a PO title of exterior doors, so those are grouped together, etc. This button that I clicked on is POs versus actual. This has nothing to do with any search that you've done over here. It's just up here. If you want to look at a report for just the job that we're looking at, you can select a job and then you can do a report for that job, all the POs and costs. Let's minimize that and see that stuff. But what you can see is the detail of the costs here. Notice that you see the slab contract first draw. Let's go back up to our cost code that we threw one onto a little while ago. You can see this one that we posted for $55, the detail of it, the date, the invoice number, whether it's been paid or not. So it's all the detail compared to the purchase orders. If there's not been any bills attached yet, you will see it says no costs applied to PO. You can do a report for just one vendor if you like, which is a report that gives the detail of the costs you paid them against their POs. I think we posted some things here. For ABC Foundation, we posted the first draw. It shows that much is still out. We posted $2,300 here against this PO for $2,500. It's showing that we paid them under by $200, etc. So that's an interesting report to look at. This is a report for cost code, one cost code, all jobs here. So maybe we're interested in what all we've done on framing labor, for example, because we're just wanting to see how much cost we put against all these POs. So every one of these is for the cost code framing labor that's on here, but it'll do it first by job. Then it'll show everything, the PO and the cost, the PO and the cost, all POs, and then the cost attached to those POs for that cost code, and then the next job, and then the next job, and here's our job. We've attached some to the $31.50 for framing labor, the exact amount we posted a cost to, etc. So you can see how you can look at different things. This button here would be for the job and the vendor, so it would only show stuff for that vendor for that job, not all for the vendor, for all jobs. And you'll see that down here, job equals this. It'll show the detail of the cost. So that's what these buttons are all about. This is just for our job and for our cost code. So this one's for the cost code, but it's only showing ones for this job and not all those other jobs like we saw a minute ago. But anyway, that's what that's about, is different ways that you can see POs versus the detail of the actual job costs that are attached to them. I think that should pretty well cover it for purchase orders and how you handle them, how you can manage them, use Windows to manage them. And once again, I highly encourage you to click the help, watch these videos, and read our thing about how using purchase orders can streamline your business. And it's a good idea to read this expert's view about controlling costs with a purchasing system, because we highly recommend that you use one. Even though it's not required in CHS, we really think it's a good idea for you to do it. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, please feel free to call us.